Hey everyone, so in the last video we covered calculated fields on a custom entity called job applicant statistics. Um, you might recall that we have this total interviews field that basically changes based on the values of these three traditional simple whole number fields. So every time I change a value here, this total interviews calculated field is changing based on these values here. And in fact, if these values are nullified, this field goes to zero. So let's go ahead and save and close that. And you can see that at the contact layer, what we're going to do is let's just show our contact. He's got some sample data that we've created. He's got a couple different employers that he's talked to, had some interviews, technical interviews, whatever. And now what we want to do is we want to roll up that information to the contact level. So we need to create some fields on the contact. We'll probably create them on the details page or maybe on the summary page. I'm not quite sure yet. So let's just go ahead and play it by ear. That's kind of how I do everything around here. So let's open up our solution. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our contact form. And on our contact form, we're going to create some roll-up fields. Now, what would we want to know? So in the last video, we were talking about phone interviews, or we're talking about standard, traditional interviews, and then technical interviews. So let's roll up that information and then go from there. So what we're going to do here at the contact level is just go ahead and create a field, and we'll call it total phone interviews. And then this is going to be a roll-up field. Now, it's a whole number, but it's a roll-up. Very important. So then when you edit this, it's going to want to know which entity do you want to roll up from. And the good news is we have a child entity, job applicant statistics, that reports to the contact. So we can definitely pull some data from that layer that's right immediately below this. So let's take a look at what we can do here. All right, so add related entity. We're going to say, yep, give me the job applicant statistics contact entity. And then my filter here is if phone interviews contains data, then go ahead and do the aggregation. Now here's where you do aggregation. You want to sum, and you want to sum the phone interviews. And there you go. That's all you do. You could do a max, min, count, average, but we just want to sum all the phone interviews based on all the rows that are associated to this contact. So the related table is job applicant statistics for the contact, and phone interviews contains data on that table. Great. Let's sum all of that data and show it on the contact. Let's do the same thing for standard interviews. So total standard interviews. And then right here, what we're going to do is it's going to be a whole number, and it's going to be a roll up, and we're going to edit. And you guessed it, it's going to be the same concept. Nothing incredibly complex here. This is something that every architect, every developer should know how to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to that related entity, job applicant statistics. We're going to choose it. We're going to add our filters based on the context of that entity. In this case, our filter is standard interviews, contains data. Great. If it contains data, let's aggregate and sum standard interviews. Boom, sum of standard interviews. Save and close it. We're done. Move on to the next one. Let's create another one. This one's going to be for technical interviews. The most fun of all. All right, and then you've got whole number. It's a roll-up field. So we add a related entity. At this point, you're probably just thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I've just seen the same thing twice. This is the third time. Alex, why are you doing this to me? I don't even want to watch this video anymore. I hope that's not how you feel, but hopefully this is helping you. So if technical interviews contains data, sum it up, please. Cool. Now, roll-up fields, generally, they calculate every 12 hours on their own. It's a batch job. You can only have a max of, I believe it's 10 roll-up fields per entity. So be wise about how many roll-up fields you create on your entity because you can only have so many. Now, can you have your roll-up fields actually, how do you say, refresh faster? Certainly. You can do it via workflow. Um, you could do it just by clicking on the refresh icon, which I'm going to show you here in just a moment. So let's go ahead and test that out here in a moment. Let's dump these fields onto the form. So they were total phone interviews, total standard interviews. Let me just make sure I have the right one. Yep, total standard interviews and total technical interviews. And I may have, did I not? I know what I didn't do. Sometimes you got to click that. All right, there we go. Total technical interviews. So you save this, you publish your form, and now your candidate profile is going to have some more data on it. So let's take a look at this candidate and see how many interviews they've done based on the rows and see if it all matches up too, right? So here's our rows. We know this is how many phone interviews. So we have 4, 5, 6. Standard interviews, we have 5, 7, 9. So 6, 9, and then we have 4, 7, 9. Also 9 technical interviews. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the summary tab. And here are these roll-up fields. All you got to do is click right here, recalculate. Total phone interviews, 6. Yep, that's right. Total standard interviews, 9. Total technical interviews, 9. And there you have it. Now, would this have refreshed overnight? Absolutely, and it would have refreshed for the entire database. So this is how you do roll-up fields based on a custom entity or any kind of related entity that you have underneath a parent entity. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday season. Take care.